Hi there, welcome back to Easy. Now you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Kanishka Sarkar and Ankita Saxena, a show where we'll take all your stock-specific queries with our experts on the technicals and the fundamentals as well. But before that, a quick look at how markets are shaping up. Ankita, an absolutely lackluster day coming in. Yesterday we were discussing whether or not we'll be able to hold on to that 25,000 level, and we're absolutely near the flat line, just shy of few points from that 25,000 level. We did touch that earlier in the day, but again we have given up that level.
It is a rather lackluster day coming in. We are still trading within the previous session's range. We did manage to touch those 25,000 levels, but we have given up all those gains, and we are actually trading very flat. Nifty is absolutely flat, just an uptick of 30 points in the green. Nifty Bank also currently is trading up for 0.1%. Is slightly outperforming Nifty at this current juncture, but no major action that's really coming in. As far as the broader markets are concerned, broader markets also, as of now, small cap is holding on to gains of 0.2% there, but mid cap, it has recovered from the day's lows, but mid cap is trading with gains of 0.1%. So there's no great moves that are coming in the market. In fact, if you look at the sector, media is the top sector for today. Zee Entertainment is up and away almost 2.5% in trade. We have Phoenix, PVR, Inox, Sun TV that are doing well. Besides that, we also have Nifty Energy that is doing well. GCPL, BHEL, NHPC, Adani Green, these are all trading upwards of 3+%. On the losing side, we have Nifty IT. We did see a reversal coming in on Nifty IT, but now Nifty IT, we do see the profit booking coming on Nifty IT. That's trading down 0.8%. Nifty Auto is also in the slow lane today, and so is Nifty Pharma. But there are a couple of, individual buzzers that are buzzing in trade. Let me take you through that. We do have Infosys that is in focus, of course. Now, Infosys is, with the board will consider the proposal of a buyback of shares, and remember, this is the 5th buyback since Infosys listed. We also have Adani Power that is in focus on the back of an LOA win. We have Coal India on the back of a brokerage note where MOSL has cut the target price for Coal India. We have Biocon also that is in focus, and Jupiter Wagons is in focus on the back of receiving an order worth 113 odd crores. So all of these counters, individual pockets yet again, that has been the drift of the market. Individual movers in the trading session today, but advance decline ratio is largely tilted in the favor of advances. So not a bad day, but no major action that's really coming in the market.
That's right. So let's get started with all the queries then. Requesting our viewers to share their stock-specific queries on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screen. Don't forget to mention your name, your stock name, your particular query, your holding time horizon, and the advice that you want, whether it's on the technical or on the fundamental side. So yes, let's get started with all the queries then. But before that, we have Sharmila Joshi with us. All right, before we get to all the queries, let's take a quick look at Tega Industries, which is in focus today. In fact, it has acquired Molycop with Apollo funds for a whopping $1.48 billion. Now, Mehul Mohanka, who's the MD and Group CEO at Tega Industries, has told ET now in an exclusive conversation that they have a 5-year plan to deleverage businesses to 2.5 times, and they're eyeing an ROE of 18% over a 3-year period. Let's listen into his comments.
Some part of the debt will come off because of the equity infusion between Tega and Apollo from our SPV into the target. But at the same time, we have a plan of how over 5 years we can deleverage the business down to closer to 2.5x in the next 5 years. I think over the next 3 years, we're looking at a return on equity of closer to about 18%. And we would be working towards a timeline of extracting that synergy from day one. If you look at Tega's current EBITDA, that more than sufficiently covers the interest burden or interest servicing of the senior debt at Molycop level. After depreciation, there's still operating cash flow or free cash flow in the business. So the debt, while it looks large, the Molycop EBITDA margins support it. It currently is at about 11% of revenue at an EBITDA level for Molycop. We're looking at expanding that to anywhere between 14 to 15% over the next 3 years.
All right, that's the management of Tega Industry. But let's move on and get started with the show. Keep sending in your questions. The number is flashing on top of your screens, and we are about to start with all the stock-specific questions. And for that, we are now joined by Sharmila Joshi, who's joining us on our show to answer all your questions. Hi, Sharmila. Thank you. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Let's get started with the questions then. First question that is coming in from Rajiv Sareen, who's writing in from Delhi. He says, please tell me your view about Reliance and Titan. What do you see for Reliance and Titan? Sharmila, Reliance and Titan are both large cap names. In fact, for Titan, it's a consumption name with the stimulus coming in, with the GST cuts coming in, and all of the stimulus to initiate consumption. What do you see for Titan and of course Reliance as well?
Also, let's talk about Reliance first because that's easier. I think if you're a long-term investor, there are certain stocks which you should have in your portfolio, which should form your sort of core portfolio. To my mind, Reliance is in that list of stocks. So for me, that's a clear hold. The good news for Reliance, of course, is that while the main business, their main revenue contribution has sort of become a sort of a steady flow business, it is the new businesses that they've gotten into which are attractive and which have shown over a period of time have generated wealth for investors as well as money for the company. I'm talking about their retail, I'm talking about their telecom, then geofinance, you had it list. There could be potentially another, if they choose to demerge their telecom business, that could happen in the future. So all in all, I think it's a good stock to hold on to. Coming to Titan, precisely as you mentioned, this is a consumption name, and the good news for them is that the GST cuts do warrant benefits for them, both for the eyewear segment as well as the jewelry segment. While the benefit there is a little limited, but definitely I think in terms of their other businesses, they will see benefits from the GST cut. And having said that, I think even as far as the jewelry business is concerned, I continue to be very positive on that. So here, your holding period could be slightly longer. I don't know whether at what price the investor has bought. But this stock, to my mind, is also a stock that the investor should hold on.
All right, so that's about Reliance and Titan. But moving on to the next query, we have our caller Satyavini, who's joining us from Hyderabad. Hi Satya, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being a regular viewer of our show. Well, let's start with your query. What is it? Which is the stock that you want advice on?
Thank you. Thanks for your kind speaking. I am watching regularly this channel from the past 15 years. I'm a regular watcher. I'm holding TCS 190 number at 3990 and the Tech Mahindra 800 number at 1710. I am in huge loss. At what place can I average more quantity? Kindly guide, please.
Okay, Sharmila, what do you think? At what price would you suggest that the caller can average more of TCS and Tech Mahindra, and how are the fundamentals looking like, especially, with Infi having its board meeting today to consider a buyback? Do you think we could expect similar announcement from other tech names as well anytime in the future, in the near future?
So one would hope that the good news would be more than just a buyback. The good news should come from the growth in business, and that's where actually things have gone awry for this sector, because we've seen that the sector was under some kind of pressure given the sort of changing situation globally, and now I think with the added concern of tariffs, etc., it has put this entire sector, in some kind of trouble. And now we've just recently begun to see, I think just a couple of days back, we suddenly started to see some kind of buying coming back. But, there will be a lot of disruptions in this sector going ahead, what with AI making inroads, etc., and how these companies place themselves and deal, how much they invest in AI and how they really take their story forward from year on, because we've really seen massive sort of job cuts, etc. Because if you increasingly shift your focus to AI, then that's going to cause a lot of changes in all these companies. Having said that, I think fundamentally the levels at which both these stocks are is very decent. So I wouldn't really add anything. What I would really suggest as a strategy is to add post numbers, see the commentary the company makes, because especially in the case of Tech Mahindra, since it's a mid-cap IT company, it always makes a lot of sense to hear the management outlook and then take a call. But both are very good quality stocks, so they are a definite hold. But in terms of adding fresh, I think just let's wait for their numbers to the next quarter numbers to come in and then take a call from there.
Well, Satyaveni, I hope your question was answered, and thank you so much for being such a long-term viewer of our channel. Means a lot to us. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's move on to the next question then. That's coming in. It's coming in from. There is no name here. I would request all the viewers to please send in your names. We won't be able to take your questions otherwise. We'll move on to the next question then. This is coming from Ramesh from Kochi. This is he holds IREDA, 200 shares at a buying price of 200 apiece. Holding for over a year now. He says that he's a long-term investor. Should he hold on to it, or should he be switching? And if he should switch, what should he switch to? Sharmila, what would be your view on IREDA? He's been holding it from a buying price of 200 rupees.
I think you continue to hold on to IREDA. Renewable energy as a theme is good. I think it's just that the stock had a bit of a run up ahead of its valuation, and probably that's around the period that you bought the stock at. But having said that, now the valuations look reasonable, and to my mind, this would be the wrong price to sell. My first target, honestly, would be around 175, 180, where you can sort of revisit the stock. But for now, it's a hold.
It's a hold call coming in from for IREDA for now. But with that, it's time for a quick breather. Don't go anywhere after the break. We're getting you all the questions answered on the other side, so stay tuned.
Please tell us which is the stock that you want want advice on.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi, Vidya.
I would
Please
like
go
to
ahead.
know. Yeah. I would like to know the fundamental advice on Sirma SGS or CG Power or Moss-Chip Technologies. Could you let me know whether any of these are good stocks to invest for long term? And secondly, I have S Bank share purchased 2 years ago for 20 rupees. And is it good to hold for long term, or should I exit now?
Okay. Sharmila, let me come to you for this one. Now, what's your view on the tech space and financial space? Yes Bank, she's been holding at a price of 20 rupees from the past 2 years. What is your fundamental view?
So very honestly, I think things have just begun to change for the better for Yes Bank, with this new investor coming in. And so you really need to see where that really does this take the bank to a stronger footing? Will they be able to grow from here, and so on and so forth? So I think at this point in time, definitely continue to hold and allow for the new investor to sort of grow this bank in a more meaningful way going ahead. So I think you need to give it at least, very honestly, a couple of years from here. Coming to CG Power, that again for me is a hold. I think that was a stock that the investor asked about. I missed the third stock, but at this level, CG Power is a hold.
So that's the view on CG Power and Yes Bank. But let me come to you for a tech check also, Ajit. What do you see? Like Sharmila mentioned, Yes Bank, perhaps the worst is behind us. What do you see on the charts for Yes Bank and CG Power?
Hi, good morning. So, see, we are seeing Yes Bank witnessing a rebound after making, recent swing low close to around 16. The stock has reclaimed all the key averages on the daily chart. But the trend has not reversed yet. So, Angita, we have multiple resistances to cross. First is going to be close to around 22, then 24. Means on every 2 points uptick, there's something or the other that may restrict the upside. So shorter duration, I feel that it's going to stick with the PSU's name wherein we are seeing traction and some of the large cap names which have already seen correction. CG Power, on the other hand, looks definitely upbeat. Means post this consolidation range breakout, we are seeing almost a vertical rise. Technically, there could be a bit of a breather around 800 mark where the call writers are holding positions. So maybe around that area, in case the view is short term, one can book profits. Otherwise, you can continue to stay put.
Power and Yes Bank. I hope your question was answered, Vidya. Thank you so much for joining us on the phone line. Let's move on to the next question then. This one's coming from Swati. She says she wants advice on AU Small Finance Bank. It has fallen to her cost price, profit gone in the last 1 month, and she holds Anantraj as well at a buying price of 466 and Tata Motors. What should she do for the last I think she wants a 2-year horizon is what I understand from her question. Sharmila, let me come to you. AU Small Finance Bank. Also, she is now sitting at a loss on AU Small Finance Bank. Her profit is gone. And Anantraj and Tata Motors, what would be your view?
So for AU Small Finance, I think, the levels at which the P levels at which the stock is trading at, the valuation seem to suggest that it's quite cheap at the moment. So given the fact that the numbers are also not the best, but I think that this price is a price to hold at and not to look at selling at. So just be a little patient and continue to hold the stock. Where Anantraj is concerned, I'm a little bit more positive on this stock given the fact that I like the sector and I like the sort of area that Anantraj also largely operates in. So for me, Anantraj also is a hold.
All right, so that's the view there. But with that, we'll take a very short break. Be right back with more of your queries to be answered on the other side.
A loss of 25%. Can I average at current price or should I sell it? Ajit, let me come to you for this. Innocent Bank and Karnataka Bank, he's sitting at losses. Is it a good time to really average in, or what should be his strategy? Should he start cutting his losses?
So, Angita, Innocent Bank is among the underperformer within the banking space. Though it's off late, we were seeing that some of the other private banking majors are also witnessing some profit taking. But when it comes to Innocent Bank, there was hardly any recovery or participation in the recent rebound also. So I feel it's prudent approach to exit from the non-performers and stick to the quality names like HDFC and ICICI, which have already seen decent correction and likely to witness some bit of a consolidation before we see the recovery. For Karnataka also, we are seeing a bit of a rebound of late in line with what we are seeing in the other PSUs. So use this recovery to reduce your position because, upside seems capped. We have multiple hurdle at the 185 to 190 zone. So around that area, you can consider exiting his position and switching to the private banking heavyweights, which you just named.
The banking space. But moving on to the next query then, Sharmila, let me come to you for this one. This is Aarti Ahuja. Her query is on Thermax. She has 30 shares of Thermax at a price of 4,300 and right now she's sitting with about a 20% loss. She wants to know whether she should continue to hold because there's going to be a long-term upside, or should she book out the loss at this juncture?
My view would be to absolutely hold the stock. I think that this is a very good quality mid-cap name, and the valuations are very reasonable at this point in time. I wouldn't really look at top of what levels, but this would be a good stock to my mind to continue to hold on to, given the fact that the numbers have been decent and valuations are also quite reasonable.
All right. Let's get on and get a live caller now on board. Arjun from Kolkata is now joining us on the phone line. Arjun, hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, what's your question?
Hi, good morning. My question is on endurance and on IdeaForge, and I want to know the critical levels. One is on the auto ancillary level and one on the defense. So just want to know the prospects of those.
Would you take that, the levels, key levels to watch out for on endurance and IdeaForge?
So Arjun, endurance is doing well. Means the stock is trading at the record highs. There's marginal profit taking in today's trade, but volumes are missing. So it's just a normal correction that we are seeing. So 2850 should now be your stop in case if they do a short term, because that's the area basically where the 20 EMA is placed. IdeaForge on the other hand, we are not seeing any sign of decisive reversal yet. Means we need to wait for a close above 520 mark to mark that as a reversal. Then only we can see a rebound towards the previous swing high, which is around 640, 650. So as of now, you can stay put in both. For IdeaForge, your stop should be at 480.
Okay, so that's the view on IdeaForge. I hope, Arjun, your query was answered. But moving on to the next query now. This is Aparna writing from Kerala. She has 200 shares of Satin Credit Care. She wants to know what's the fundamental view there. She is looking to hold the stock for a period of about 2 years. Sharmila?
Yes, so this entire sector unfortunately has gone through some amount of pain given the fact that it was really because of a reflection of the fact that the banks were sort of attracting a lot of the business that these companies were getting earlier, and that entire system sort of went into slowdown. Having said that, I think that if you are patient, I would suggest that you continue to hold because I would have targets of closer to 165, 170 on the stock, but I think that you do need to be patient on this one for to see that cycle sort of recover before you see an improvement in the stock price.
Okay, so you could hold Satin Credit Care, but you'll have to be patient for the long term. But on that note, we'll take a very short break. Be right back with more of your queries to be answered on the other side.
Welcome back. You're tuning into Buy Now Sell Now. You're joining us from the SBI Live studio. This is the show where we get all your stock-specific questions answered. Let's resume with all the stock questions that you have been sending to us. Now, this question is coming from Aarti Ahuja, who's writing from Ambernath. She says she has 30 shares of Thermax. She's bought at a buying price of 4,300 and she's having a loss of 20%. Should she hold or should she book losses? Sharmila, let me come to you for this. Thermax. What should she do? She's sitting at a loss of 20%. Not given the holding period though, but at this juncture, what should she do?
I think given their valuations as well as their order book and numbers, I think Thermax is a hold for me. You need to be a little patient, but continue to hold Thermax.
Okay, so continue to hold. That's the view on Thermax as we discussed. But moving on to the next query then. This is coming from S. Manjunath, who's a senior citizen writing from Bangalore. They've been holding 5,000 shares of HDFC Bank and at an average price of 345. They've been holding the stock for past 30 years. And they've also received some shares by merger of HDFC and later HDFC Bank bonus issue as well. We want to know whether it's good to continue to hold these shares for another 5 years and later transfer to their heirs. Sharmila, what is your view? The viewer has been holding HDFC Bank for the past 30 years. clearly they are sitting on a lot of profit. What would you suggest? Should they book out some?
The come bonus price is 342. So you can imagine the kind of profit that they're sitting on. And this is a good example of a sort of a compounding that you get from holding on for the longer period. Also, I think that HDFC Bank, post their merger, as they mentioned, has now become one of the largest banks globally. And for the benefits of that to sort of, for you to really get the benefit of that, you need to stay invested for slightly longer. To my mind, there is no doubt. I think you need to continue to hold the stock. And as you said, it's a legacy, so don't really be in a hurry to sell it.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Then this is coming from DK Kar, who's writing in from Kolkata. He says the long-term investor. He wants to know about Trident. He's holding the 200 shares at a buying price of 47. He's already held it for the last 3 to 5 years. What should he do now? Ajit, let me come to you for this. So he's holding at a buying price of 47 is what he's bought Trident at. So clearly he's sitting at a loss. What should he do at this juncture?
So it's been almost nearly 3 years now that the stock has been experiencing correction. Means after making a record highs, in 2022 January at 67, now is currently quoting at 30. So consolidation is more likely since the stock is still trading below its short-term averages. The near-term outlook looks negative, and for that to change for a longer duration, also the stock should surpass 35 levels decisively. Then only he can see the prices at around 45, 50 something levels which he has currently bought at. So as of now, it's a hold, but don't add to your existing position and maintain at least now stop at 25. Because below that, we may see next leg of the down move, which could further push the stock towards 15 or maybe lower.
Okay, so that's the view on Trident. But moving on to the next query, this one is coming from Mohit, who has written from Ludhiana. They have 150 shares of Aptus Housing at a price of 347. Their time horizon is 3 years. Sharmila, what do you think the fundamentals are looking like for this one?
This is Aptus Housing. Aptus Value that it's called, right?
Aptus Value Housing, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the valuations look very reasonable, and as I mentioned, very earlier, I like real estate as a sector. I think that overall, I do see that the growth will sort of come from tier 2, tier 3 towns, and I think the stock is nicely placed there. So to my mind, it's a hold.
So it's a hold coming in for Aptus Value. Let's move on to the next question. This is Sunot, who's writing in from Kerala. He has 400 shares of Delivery that is bought at a buying price of 271. Is it a hold or a sell? Ajit, coming to you, Delivery shares at buying price of 271. What should he do?
So it's sitting on very decent profits now. So at least you should book partial because the stock is again back to the February highs of 2024 from the area where last time we saw the sharp correction towards 250 levels. So at least book 50%, and for the remaining you should now maintain a stop at 445 as a trailing stop loss. In case if it manages to surpass the hurdle at 490 this time around, then probably we can see the stock inching toward 525, 530.
Okay, so that's the view on Delivery. But moving on to the next query, this one is on Texmaco Rail. The viewer, they haven't given their name, so I'll have to give it a pass for now. Requesting our viewers to please share their names as well so that we can attribute the stock query to you. But moving on to the next query, this is Arunachalam Balaji, who's a senior citizen. They have 1,500 shares of South Indian Bank at a price of 29 rupees. They want to know whether the stock is a good hold for the long term, and also if you could recommend a few other names from within this space. Sharmila, what do you think?
I think that while it's a decent stock and you could continue to hold it, there are, I think, better names within banking as a sector. What I would really, so I think continue to hold South Indian Bank. But if you want to add more banks to your overall holdings, then in the PSU space, you should look at the slightly larger banks. So I'm not one obvious bank is State Bank of India. So let's not even talk of that. But I think if you were to look at the banks like a Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, PNB, to my mind, they make they're a better bet to sort of buy and continue to hold. So I would really, request that you sort of pivot your holdings so that you're in the banking sector, you are in PSU banks, but you're in the slightly larger banks.
All right, so that was the last stock question of the day. Sharmila Naji, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us and answering all the questions for us. Well, moving on to the event of the day, Nivedana Prabhu caught up with Maruti Suzuki's Partha Banerjee on the sidelines of the CIM annual convention. Let's go across and take a look at what transpired there.
We've already done it.
Yeah.
That we will be passing on
the benefits.
I think the very next day, on 4th, our chairman announced that Maruti will be passing on. And today, if you see in the newspaper, we have released an ad that we will be passing on all the GST benefit, not only on the sales, but service, even in the parts also.
Talking about again the GST aspect of it, small car discounts are of course substantial, and of course the policy push now in the festive season trend as well. What are we looking at over there?
First of all, I think the GST cut is across all segments. Bigger cars also have got the 10% thing, so it is nothing to do with only with the small car. The bigger car, in fact, the absolute amount will be much bigger for the bigger cars than the smaller cars. Yes, I think it's a very good move. The challenge with the small car was affordability.
Correct.
And we feel the customers who wanted to upgrade from a two-wheeler to four-wheeler, this is an opportune time for them to come because it's a very big price cut which is happening right now due to the GST to the tune of 8.5% for the small cars. So, and for the big car, it is 3.5% because the GST is dropping, including the cess from 45% to 40%.
Right. Another thing that I want to ask you, when we last met was, of course, at the launch of Vitoris. Now, how is that panned out so far? Is it also adding to what we're looking at in terms of the festive season here?
I think the response is very good.
Okay.
Within the first 48 hours of the launch, we have gotten more than 100 million viewers. Right now, please understand, we have not yet announced the price for the new model.
Correct, yes.
Which we are going to announce it before 22nd of September. Response is very good. The inquiries which we are receiving at our showrooms, very good.
One thing I want to ask you about that is, given that product in terms of the lineup for Maruti, a product like that was missing. Was that the rationale behind launching Vitoris?
Yes, if you see, there was one segment of customers, the Gen Z customers, they are looking for a different experience, digital experience. They look for entertainment systems. They look.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ।